What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you my video about Gloomhaven's Jaws of the Lion DLC. So right off the bat, thank you to Asmodee Digital for sponsoring this video. Asmodee Digital is the publisher for Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven itself is made by Flaming Fowl Studios. Gloomhaven is a tactical RPG that supports a single-player campaign or online co-op, and it is actually the faithful adaptation of Isaac Childress's board game of the same name. And if you're interested in anything we're about to cover here, you can get Jaws of the Lion and Gloomhaven itself right now, as the DLC was released on May 17th on Steam and GOG. You can find a link in the video description and get it for yourself. And if you're interested, the base game is actually 25% off through May 22nd as well. Let's talk a little bit about the base game before we dive into all of the new stuff that the DLC will be bringing. As I mentioned, the game is the faithful adaptation of the board game Gloomhaven, meaning that what you're going to play on Steam or GOG is effectively the digital version of the board game. And the concept is that we're going to be leading a band of mercenaries taking on jobs and investigating a story that, of course, unfolds across the campaign. Now, in addition to the campaign, which is the actual board game story, there is a Guildmaster mode. The Guildmaster mode will actually teach you how to play the game and kind of ease you into it. Because if you're unaware, Gloomhaven is a very tactical game and it's important to know the rules. And as such, there's a pretty extensive tutorial. And again, this Guildmastery mode will kind of ease you into the game and present everything in a way that is understandable and kind of easy to jump into. Whereas the main campaign pretty well expects you to know what you're doing at this point. So if you're picking this up for the very first time, definitely go through the tutorial and the Guildmaster mode first. And then, of course, the main campaign, as well as Guildmaster mode both, sees us engaging in the tactical combat that is Gloomhaven. This will involve us hiring various mercenaries, which can be of various classes. We start the game, the base game that is, with 6 of these classes, and the Jaws of the Lion DLC actually adds an additional 4 that you can play with right off the bat. Now, if you want to access those, all you have to do when you click New Game or New Campaign is to simply check the Jaws of the Lion box, and you'll have access to them right out of the gate. Now, the Jaws of the Lion campaign itself doesn't actually start until the first 2 scenarios, or combat encounters if you will, of the main campaign are dealt with, and then you can kick off the proper Jaws of the Lion campaign after that. But as I mentioned, we will be making a mercenary group of 2 to 4 characters that we will then play through the game with. Overall, there's a ton of really interesting classes that can very much so mix up the way you approach and play the game, and as you can only have so many of these guys with you, there's a lot of mix and matching available. Furthermore, when you accept mercenaries onto your team, they can have a personal goal in mind, and this goal will then, once completed, cause them to retire, which can then unlock other classes, etc. for you to play outside of the starter classes. All of this combined with a pretty in-depth item and consumable system that allows you to really engage in tactical combat with heavy emphasis on the tactics, because as I mentioned, this is of course based on a board game and it adopts the board game's card-based system. So each class that you pick will actually have a set of cards available to them as your mercenaries level up. They will get access to more cards, which will allow them to swap out abilities, etc. But these cards actually serve as your actions, and there's quite a few rules around how this stuff works, so I'll leave it to the tutorial to teach you those things. But from there, let's actually start talking about the Jaws of the Lion DLC. Now, the story of the DLC follows a bunch of disappearances happening around the town of Gloomhaven, which you'll be investigating through the course of 25 scenarios, or combat encounters, or missions, however you want to look at it. And these missions will basically take you to the dark underbelly of Gloomhaven, you could say. Whereas the main campaign takes you through a lot of the surrounding areas, etc., the main campaign really dives in deep to the actual city of Gloomhaven. Of course, as we do this, we'll be accompanied by our 4 mercenaries, specifically from the DLC, which are the Demolitionist, the Hatchet, the Red Guard, and the Void Warden, all of which, of course, bring their own ways to play the game, which vary from the other classes available. and each class comes with its unique deck of cards to grant them different abilities and things they're good at and not good at, etc. So frankly, just more ways to play the game. And in addition to those new mercenaries, there will be 10 new enemies and bosses for you to test your newly hired mercenaries against. In addition to all of those things, we actually also have new road events. These are essentially random encounters as your characters travel the map or go from mission to mission. And all of that doesn't even mention the 10 new items as well as the 24 extra battle goals to engage with as well. So new items is pretty straightforward. There's a shop that you're able to buy items, etc. from, but the battle goals offer a chance to vary up your playthrough a little bit more. So anytime you start a scenario, each individual mercenary can pick a battle goal, which is something they'll try to accomplish during that fight, and succeeding in them usually gives you points towards a new perk. Well, Jaws of the Lion adds 24 extra battle goals to help vary that up a little bit and add some variety to the scenarios themselves. There you go, everyone, an overview of Gloomhaven, and again, it's Jaws of the Lion DLC, which is out now, and you can find a link in the description below. So if you decide to check the game out, please use that link, and I might just be able to get another one of these sponsorships in the future. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, but regardless of any of that, truly, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of Gloomhaven down in the comments below. Thank you again. May you wander in wisdom, and have an amazing day.